Hello there, and welcome to Movie Club. So, a few weeks ago, when the guest thing was going on, Nicola, Shah, Headless, and I were in a hangout, and we're talking about movies. And I just thought, hey, why don't we have a movie club hangout? Like when you get someone, you get like a club of people. Oprah does it, where people read the same book and then they have a chat about it. This goes on all over the place. I thought, you know what, loads of us like movies. It might be a bit of fun. So the way we've decided to do it is at the moment there's four of us. We might add other people later, but for now we're going to stick for four for a few weeks. And once each of us has got one movie done each, then maybe we'll look about introducing other people. But we're trying to keep it small for now. So the plan is that we each watch, one of us picks a movie and we all watch the same movie and then we're just going to have a chat about it. So, being the host, I picked the first movie, and the movie I picked was R.I.P.D, Rest in Peace Department. So it's a 2013 American fantasy buddy cop action comedy movie. It's got Jeff Bridges and Ryan Reynolds, and Shah's probably going to hurt me now, but he's the guy that ended up being Deadpool later on, and Robert.
He's Van Wilder and Pikachu.
I don't know that. I mean, Pikachu. I can't stand Pokemon.
Do other movies too. Right? He's not just Deadpool.
Yeah, wow. He's done a lot of movies.
He's also Green Lantern.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, that one was...
But then again, that really doesn't count for anything.
Yeah. So apparently it's based upon a comic book. I didn't even know that. But it's got Kevin Bacon in it as well. And, so that's the movie we watched. And we're going to talk about it. So just a brief thing. What did you think?
That was pretty good. I don't know. I think little bits of the humor I thought were really funny and like kind of unique, which I liked. I have to admit there was like there's one action scene I fell asleep in twice. I had to keep rewinding it because I don't know, the action scenes I didn't find particularly great, but I don't know. But otherwise, I thought the movie was good. The dialogue was good.
It was a silly movie.
Yeah, it is silly.
It's not one of those things that you should take it seriously. No, it's a silly one.
Yeah, to be fair, like I do not enjoy action scenes in most superhero movies where 20 minutes of destroying a city doesn't interest me. Like I fall asleep during those all the time, so it's not exactly like a bad thing. It's just I thought the humor was good, and I thought sort of like the story was sort of the good part of it, I think.
Yeah. Critics tried
it had a good start and concept, but it wasn't well executed. Okay. Like you watch it and I kind of saw it, and I will admit I did go look up stuff about the film later, and everything I found on it basically agreed with what I thought before I looked up that stuff. And it's Men in Black meets Starsky and Hutch meets Ghostbusters.
And the Ghostbusters at the end with the portal in the sky, it's like, this is Ghostbusters.
It's like someone took movie plot devices and such and kind of just mixed them all up and thought, hey, that would be a good movie. So it's good in the start, but it's not done well.
Yeah,
it needed polish to get the familiarity rubbed off of it, so it becomes its own piece.
Yeah. Now, if you're going to watch this, watch this Hangout series, it's going to have spoilers in. It is. Okay.
Yeah.
There's no doubt about that.
But these are older movies that you should have seen by now.
Yeah. So, in the movie, effectively what happens is you got Ryan Reynolds as a bad guy, sort of. He's a cop. He's on a bus. He did a bust. and some gold was there, and so him and his partner keep
Wasn't
the
that
gold.
Kevin Bacon?
It was Kevin Bacon as the partner.
Well, they don't actually, and they don't actually tell you how he got the gold, right? Like, we don't know if he like willingly took the gold or if his partner pressured him into it, or anything. We just know he starts out with gold, which So he's not necessarily a bad cop. We don't really know the circumstances, but he did do something wrong.
That is one of the things, isn't it? Because the start of it is that there's this thing that they did. All we know from it is that there were these guys. They went for a drug bust, and there was this gold, and they kept it. They didn't turn it in as evidence.
We also know that. What was Ryan Reynolds' character's name again?
Walker.
Walker. Was it Walker?
Yeah, Nick Walker.
So Nick, we know that he feels guilty about taking the gold, and he doesn't really want it, but he never makes excuses or anything. Like he kind of accepts that he did something wrong, right?
Yeah, that's right. I mean, it kind of feeds onto the bit that's coming next. Yep. Because what happens is his wife, he's like woke up, he's having some, a chat conversation with his wife, and it's like, don't you want this, that, and the other? And she's like, I don't care about that. You care about that. And that's the turning point in his head. It's like, why am I doing this thing? Why am I doing this illegal thing? I'm a cop. I shouldn't be doing those sorts of things. And so he basically goes against that temptation that he initially had.
Mm-hmm.
So he tells his partner, not doing it. Sorry, not going to turn you in. I'm just not doing it. I'm out. And then there's some big drug dealer, and they're off, after that. And then his partner kills him. And so he ends up ascending, and it's like he's going to he's going to judgment. I don't know. It's kind of vague because it doesn't say she's going to hell. He's just going to judgment.
And I wondered, so he went outside, and then he was getting sucked up into the air with everyone else.
That was the other movie I forgot to mention as part of Left Behind.
Oh yeah, kind of.
I've never seen any of those.
Actually, yeah. Actually,
nor have I.
It's a lot like is it called This Is the End?
No, the one made by what's his name? Kirk
yes,
Cameron.
I know. But there's one called This Is the End, I think.
Yeah.
Where they get raptured.
Yeah.
And it's exactly like that. But I mean, that movie came after anyway. But it's a pretty common thing. But I wondered what would happen if he'd stayed indoors. Would he have got sucked up through the building or outside?
You're dead. So
yeah, but he can stand on the ground, so obviously solid matter still affects him. No? I don't know. I just wondered, because it was funny, because he went outside and then he got sucked up. And...
Yeah.
I thought, what's her face? The Proctor? I thought she was really good.
I had to actually double check to make sure.
Mm-hmm.
And apparently the lady who plays that character is not the same lady who plays Flo from the insurance commercials.
Oh.
I thought it was, and I had to go check.
I don't watch commercials, so
I just remember the commercials for Progressive Insurance, and I had to go check that this is not the same actress.
Yeah.
Oh, she was good though. I thought she was fun.
I do like that character. I really do.
Yeah.
She looks right out of the 60s. White go-go boots and all. But the thing that made me chuckle is she just sort of in the start of the movie, he's going up to judgment, then gets snapped up on weights. Suddenly is in like a weight, an interview.
And I love the way they threw him into the room with the chair going flying sideways and instantly stops. I like that they did a few of those things in this movie that were quirky and unique.
Yeah. But
that's the other thing I liked. All of the sets, not all of them, so many of them have the weirdest little things in the set.
Mm.
I don't know if you noticed it, but they're really quirky and eclectic, and there's old stuff mixed with new stuff with all these different eras. Like when you're in the big room with all the policemen, right? There's the old guys with their old uniforms. They've got the old like phones with the rotary dial, and then you've got like just very eclectic and very different. Did she have a cactus on her desk too? I think she had a cactus.
I don't remember.
She just had, it was just really cool. Like the stuff, if you just kind of keep your eyes open, like you see lots of really cool things sprinkled throughout. And there's no reason for them to be there. They're just interesting, I think.
Yeah, I mean, there was Steely Dan playing in the background.
Yes.
That was surreal. That was like,
that's eclectic, right? It's just weird. There's no, they just did weird stuff.
The other bit that made me chuckle about that scene was how he says something smart or something, and she sort of goes, hilarious.
Yeah.
It's not a proper laugh. It's just a sort of, pretending to laugh. And it was just quirky enough that I found the character interesting. So basically what happens is he's given a choice. You can go up for judgment right now and face what the consequences are. And he's, it bothers me because he's labeled a dirty cop in that interview. And yet he's gone against that temptation. He's like, yeah, okay, he had the temptation and he changed his mind and he basically repented, shall we say.
Well, but that's just it. It's true repentance because he doesn't deny it. Like he doesn't try to make excuses or say, no, I'm not dirty. Like he just, I am. I get it.
Yep. Yeah. So he's basically given a choice. He can do 99 years or 100 years, whatever it was, of duty as a cop in the R.I.P.D. or face judgment now. And it's like, and you'll be in Boston where he was just killed. And it's like, I'll do it. And the proctor, she's basically saying, the lieutenant for the Boston office, she's saying like, yep, already know what you're thinking. You're going to go and see your wife, that kind of thing.
Yeah.
So the next stage is that she's put, he's assigned to a buddy, a veteran on the force, the Jeff Bridges character. And it's Roy Cephas.
Yeah, sorry.
Listening to me. Did a movie start?
No, I was trying to open it without.
Jar clicked links.
No, and it's on the wrong movie screen, so there we go.
So for crying out loud, I'm going to tell my friend to go away.
I like how she's drinking a Fresca.
Yeah.
That would be very late 60s, early 70s.
Yeah.
Like I say, and when, like you'll be working with the best, and all the people there, the best cops around, they're basically the best cops around, and, they're all in the R.I.P.D. And you've got like guys in, like 20s outfits and things like that. So they're obviously all cops from different time periods.
And don't forget the 70s cop.
Oh, yeah.
The only one not wearing a uniform, talking about how chest hair was going to come back into fashion someday.
Yeah. So they so he's partnered up with Roy Cephas, who's from the Wild West. And the guy is, I don't know. The guy's
he's a really good character though.
Yeah. I mean, the first thing they do is go to Nick Walker's funeral, the guy that's just been shot in the face by his partner.
Yeah.
And, Roy is basically saying, "I'll leave you to soak it in," and doesn't shut up the entire time. And
Yeah.
throughout the film, it's like, "Oh, you've got it easy. You just got in the show. You got shot in the face. I got killed, but shot in the back by my partner. And watch my funeral was my bones being picked apart by coyotes." Or
Yeah.
coyotes, he calls them. And sort of all the way through the film, it's like this hang up about how he died and how basically a couple of coyotes made had sex in it with his skull.
Hmm.
And
No, no, no. It was fornicating with his eye socket. Do you know what that's called?
yeah, yeah.
But like it's
Sorry, Shah, I gotta say, and Nick, by this point, because we're talking, it's about an hour into the movie at that by the time that reference is brought up, and Nick Walker just can't stand the guy now. It's like, yeah, you know what? I hope they got both sockets.
yeah, yeah.
Harsh. That's where the comedy comes in.
Yeah.
Well, I enjoy the comedy for this film.
It's kind of ironic because, like, what is his name? Josephus? He doesn't. He doesn't. Roy Cephas. He doesn't like. He doesn't want a partner, and yet he talks and talks and talks like he does want a partner. Do you know what I mean? Like, it's kind of. He seems to enjoy tormenting people by just talking.
And there's another element that I love in this film, and that's how the way that they look is not the way that everybody perceives them.
Yeah.
So, Jeff Bridges looking like he's out of a cowboy movie. He is a 6 foot tall, blonde, skinny, gold dress, looks just like a supermodel.
And sounds like one.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I mean, there's a bit in the film where they're on a stakeout, they're waiting for something, and some guy gets up and says, "I make movie videos, music videos. Here's my card," kind of thing. And she's like, and he, as because he's she as well, is like, "I'm not a piece of meat." Just flicks it at him.
Yeah.
That's funny.
The one thing, so I mean, that's something we've also seen in movies before, right? Where you look and sound like something else to everybody. But I thought they did a really good job with some of the really quick cuts between like what they are and what they look like, because I thought that was really funny, because like there was the one time where Nick goes to like hit the guy over the head, like hit the guy across the face with like a pan or something. But just as he's swinging, they cut to him as the little short Chinese man who hits him, and then they cut back. And it's just, they do that really quick, and they do it well enough that it's quite hilarious.
Yeah. And there's also little bits in there, like, for example, they've all got ID. And the ID is like, the health department or, all sorts of other things. And it just, whenever he sort of shows it, it just snaps.
Yeah.
Just a weird little sound effect that just,
Yeah.
I enjoy that kind of thing.
Yeah, I liked that. I also loved, like, when Roy was driving, I loved how he was, like, not looking out the windshield. How he was like sitting sideways in his seat. Like, did he even have a foot on the gas pedal? Like, we don't even know, right?
And just steered with one hand and just rotating it around rather than actually holding.
Just doesn't care at all.
Yeah. And also they're kind of invulnerable, other than being shot by certain bullets.
Yeah.
Which suck them out of history or something, from what it sounds like. Erased from existence.
Yeah.
But and that kind of bothers me about that, because if they're erased from history, which was the way it was described, then at the end of the movie, when the the bad guy gets killed, who's the bad guy that killed Nick Walker in the first place. If he was erased from history, then he shouldn't be dead. Does that make sense?
Well, who was? Wait, who was?
Oh, right.
erased?
When
So-
Kevin Bacon gets shot,
Yeah.
he's erased from history. Therefore, Ryan Reynolds' character would not have died because Kevin Bacon wasn't there to kill him.
Yeah.
Oh, but they're not erased from history, are they? Aren't they just erased?
I'm pretty sure that was the way that it was described.
Oh,
You know. Now
well, that doesn't make any sense, though. 'Cause
Yeah.
that violates
maybe I'm
everything we know.
Yeah.
No,
Maybe.
okay, Cliff. I'll just point something out though. The MacGuffin artifact they're looking for that opens the portal,
Mhm.
or reverses the flow rather of the portal, is made of several pounds of solid gold.
Hmm.
I would say
And
more
we're
than
not and we're not talking small pieces here either.
Yeah.
like probably a ton.
Yeah.
It's a lot of gold.
And these pieces were just being thrown around by everybody like they were nothing.
Yeah. Now, one of the things that I thought was fun, I really liked, and again, it was somewhat surreal, which was so the first assignment Nick has got with his new partner. They go to, they go, and there's signatures of where they are because stuff doesn't work. So, for example, there was the guy with the sideburns later on who's being handed the gold in the suitcase. When he comes out, there's a guy cleaning the floor, and as he walks by, the machine conks out, starts smoking and burning. And this is a signature of what happens. The dead people, effectively, it spoils everything around them. And so lights don't work, or the lift has got a flickery light, or, things like that.
But then how come Jeff Bridges' character and Ryan Reynolds' character don't do that too?
Because they're not dead. I don't know, I suppose they're immune from the effects because they're the good guys.
They're not deados.
Yeah.
Right, okay.
But so what happens is they go to knock on a door, interview a guy, and when you've got the Miranda cards, where you sort of read, you have the right to remain silent. Not like that. What happens is the cards are like, it's Ash Wednesday, and a Chinese guy gets out of an Akira and offers you chicken vindaloo. And it's like, do you accept? That's the question. Do you?
It was a very weird question. Yeah.
And the guy's like, and as soon as he gets asked that question, he goes like, as if he's about to puke or something, just like,
yeah.
in his body, it's like, and what is it? Is it the Vindaloo? Or is it the Chinese guy, the cheap Japanese car? And then the questions come, and effectively, the guy's like, the guy being interviewed, and literally got Brasofas with food spilling out of his mouth. Yes, it is. Yes, it is. And 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 then that's when he shows that he's a deado. That he can't hold it in anymore. He can't look like a normal person because effectively he got these dead people masquerading as normal people. But
So how did they escape getting sucked up into the sky? Like, could Ryan Reynolds have just stayed indoors and not like?
I don't know.
I don't know. It doesn't make sense.
Yeah, it doesn't really. There was a brief mention of it, but it doesn't really go into any detail, so it leaves you wondering.
They're haunting.
Yeah, but
they're
why
malevolent spirits who haven't left. They're haunting. They've somehow been trapped or trapped themselves.
Well, that's what I mean. Like, how did there's I don't understand how they would be trapped, right? Because
was there a willpower thing when he gets sucked up into the sky and it's like, oh, I'm dead now. Well, I'm now being sucked up.
Can he just say, I don't want to get sucked up?
To make a comparison to another movie, where do all the aliens come from in Men in Black? They never really explain that either.
Well, up there, I suppose.
Yeah, up there, right? But they never explain why they're here, why they've come, why they're showing up, where they come from. That's irrelevant. They're just here.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean,
Yeah.
I wonder if the if the fluff behind it, if the justification of how they managed to not be sucked up and how they managed to stay on Earth and masquerade as normal people. I wonder if that was something that ended up being cut out. It was just felt to be too laborious to explain it. It would be like Star Wars, the prequels for Star Wars, where it's talking about metachlorians and stuff. It's like, yeah, we didn't need to know that.
Yeah, we really didn't need to know that one.
So,
but Cliff, you did mention it was based on a comic book, or at least a comic book came after. I'm not sure which way it went here. Okay, so it may be touched on in the comic book because it got more time and things it can do.
Yeah,
but you're right. In the movie, they may have just had to skip over that.
Yeah, just didn't feel like they needed to answer, or it was just too laborious to do it. So they just went, "Oh, don't worry about it." They just do. So, but like I say, I enjoyed those little pieces, like Shah said, just these little bits that you find, and ultimately the idea is that they need to build this, this stuff of Jericho thing, where everyone gets sucked out, the bad people get sucked in, up to judgment. And go to hell, I suppose. They end up being, they would reverse the stream, as it were. And it's like, yeah, we've got to stop this from happening. And they get suspended, I suppose. They're off the case. And actually, there was the moment of, the lieutenant, the head of sorry, not lieutenant. She's the head of the Boston department, R.I.P. department, and she's saying, "Yep, you're off the case." And Roy Cephas is like, "You're gonna let the best guy off, and just like who's, and she's saying like, "We're gonna give it to better officers. Who's better than me?" And she goes through a list of about 5 people, and then goes into the guy that the janitor. It's like, oh, harsh again. But it kind of goes, it shows how narcissistic Josephus is, doesn't it?
Yeah.
He is obsessed about himself and his abilities and how he died and how the coyotes, ate him.
Yeah, and I think he likes his job at the R.I.P.D. because like he's already had an extension and he gets another one and he doesn't seem to care.
Yeah.
I didn't think Ryan Reynolds, like he just sort of played the straight guy, right? And I didn't think his character was particularly interesting. I thought Jeff Bridges was really good.
Yeah.
I still liked him, but I think you need the pair, don't you? You need the straight man.
But
it wasn't so much a straight man as like, what the hell are you doing? What are you saying?
Yeah.
Because there's the bit with, you got to get frosty. Receivers is like getting frosty and put your Iceman on, or what was it? Go snowman or something. Icy hot. Are you trying to be a cop? So, I wouldn't be at all surprised to learn that when he was chosen for Deadpool, they looked at this movie and said, he's got, he has the ability to make a quiff at someone that can sound extremely sarcastic.
Oh, have you not seen Waiting or Van Wilder?
I haven't seen many movies with him in, to be honest.
Because those like Waiting and Van Wilder, that's like Deadpool. Like that's his character, I think. Like I mean, he doesn't play a lot of different characters in movies. He's kind of like the smartass. That's what he does. So
right.
He's done a couple movies that were different, but for the most part, he's pretty much a what do you call that when you're locked in a role for life?
Oh, typecast.
Yeah, he's pretty typecast.
Yeah.
Or even Blade Trinity, or I don't know, it's another one. If you haven't seen Foolproof, it's really good. It's Canadian.
Right.
One of his earlier movies. It's a good one. It's like a caper. I really liked the scene where they pulled out those big golden canisters from the like one of those air pipe thingies, and I don't know. And she was like getting instructions, right? And she pulled out the scrolls, and there was just like pictures on them.
Yeah, they've got the eternal what was it called again?
I don't remember.
Eternal relations, because normally in the police you've got the internal.
Yeah, the eternal. Yeah.
Is it relations?
No, it's in.
Yeah.
Eternal Affairs.
Yeah, that's right. Internal affairs. It's eternal
affairs. Yeah.
It's got this big long sort of pipe that just go ding 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 ding, and she's got a big piece of paper. There's that sort of that old fashioned joke about someone gets the receipt or something like that, and it's just like it's not just the piece of paper that's big. It's like sheets and sheets long, one big long scroll of of stuff, and trying to say, yep, they're upset. Oh, and is this the gold's from this machine they're going to make, and yeah, but and then it comes along and you're off the case. Yeah.
Yeah. I think there's. I don't remember. I don't. Yeah, I don't know. I thought there was a lot more they could have maybe done with the movie, but
I found the pacing was a bit off.
In what way?
As I watched the film, I eventually just checked the clock on it and realized I've only been watching this now for half an hour. And it's like, when is it going to get somewhere? Where is it going to do something? When is it going to... And then it kind of just kept repeating itself. Like, you do certain things, then you do certain things, you do certain things. It was repetitious.
Not sure I saw that.
I didn't get that.
It did have the the three what do you call it? Not three. Movies are generally done in three parts. You've got sort of like the introduction, the middle bit, and then the conclusion.
No, that's not the repeating part. Like, the repeating part is they're at the precinct, they leave the precinct, they drive somewhere, they have a fight scene. They're at the precinct, they drive somewhere, they have a fight scene.
Oh, okay. I think I see.
Right? And it kind of it had that repetition to it.
Right.
Right. That's what I meant by earlier when I said it needed to be polished and scrubbed up. Like it was a good start. Someone just had to finish it, and it never really got finished.
Yeah.
This is funny. I'm just screen sharing this because I didn't see this. Like in the movie, you see on the right, there's like a movie screen or a TV screen that says "Special Report: Monster in Boston," and it's got the guy like walking on the side of the building. Yeah. I hadn't seen that before, but there's little things like that that I thought were really funny if you caught them, which I did not catch that when I watched it.
I was going to say something, I've forgotten.
Oh, sorry.
No. What you said. It was on the repetition thing, and I can't think what it was. I don't know. I'll probably remember after we go off air, of course.
Here's like one of those drawings from the Eternal Affairs that like you can see like the trail of blood, and then I don't even know. Like it doesn't even. It's just funny.
Yeah. And again,
that I didn't understand. They had to use the girlfriend's blood. It had to be the blood of your enemies, but they used his girlfriend's or his wife's blood. I don't know. It
That
Well,
didn't.
that's because the enemy in this case was Ryan
was
Reynolds,
dead.
but he's already dead.
Yeah.
And so, what's Kevin Bacon got left?
I don't know. I guess it counts.
Counts,
I
right?
guess.
It was actually fun to see him in a movie again because I had until this I hadn't seen Kevin Bacon in a movie for years.
Hmm.
It
Well,
was
he might have been laying low because he was being careful. Because if he keeps making movies and working with other people, that 6 degree thing will eventually come around full circle, and Kevin Bacon will be 6 degrees from Kevin Bacon.
yeah, and of course everybody likes bacon. R.
Uh,
There was um, cheesy, but it worked with the character, the receiver's character. So they're trying to prevent, the Deados are trying to get the gold to be able to build this machine, and a chunk of it is at the police department. So they raid it to get it back, and when they leave, they manage to get the gold and they're getting away. So the cops go chasing after them, and there's a guy with a deado with a big Gatling gun thing, and he's like shooting, and then his gun jams. So Recephus in full good old Wild West way walks out into the street like high noon kind of thing, and then just shoots them both, and then does the whole the guy. There's always a guy on the rooftop kind of thing. Doesn't even look. And then the guy in the window, but there's no guy in the window. And then it's the guy in the windows can sometimes be the other guy on the roof. It's cheesy, but it was well done. Don't you think?
nah. Yeah, it was okay. I mean, I thought. Yeah, I mean, like I said, like
well, it
Jeff
was a
Bridges
moment,
is
wasn't
funny.
it? Because
Yeah.
it was like, okay, they then take down the third guy on the roof. Now they're partners. I think that was the point where they're now partners.
Yeah.
Because until then, you basically got, immovable object and, another guy. And then now they're following the same thing. I remember what I was going to say. In many of these movies where, the cops, they're off the case, they decide, no, we're not. We're going to investigate it on our own. They go rogue.
Yeah.
And then end up saving the day.
Yeah.
That is a bit of a trope.
It is. Yeah.
But, yeah.
I did like the VCR repair shop.
Yes. Yeah, that was good. So the way they get out from the police department is they come out of a VCR repair shop, and it's like not very good cover, is it? It's like, when was the last time you had a VCR repaired? Fair point.
Yeah. I like how
And
he
the guy looks like he's just a mannequin or something.
he doesn't move.
Yeah.
I like how they go into like the bathroom, right? But they flush the toilet as the activation.
Yeah.
To make it go.
It feels a bit Harry Potter, that though, wasn't it? Because remember, that's how they switch up to stuff.
Yeah, but the old TV show Get Smart, you got into the secret headquarters by going into a phone booth and dialing and then falling to the floor.
Yeah.
Right.
What doesn't make sense is that they have their vehicle is a like it's the VCR repair shop vehicle. Like,
yeah.
Like what they do, like on-site VCR repair.
Mm.
Doesn't make any sense.
And gee, if you're a deado and these guys show up driving the VCR repair car, can't you put two and two together and find the only VCR repair shop in town?
Probably.
Well, I mean, I don't. There's a fair chance that they already know it exists.
Mm-hmm.
So, but of course, deados don't want to go to the R.I.P.D, police station.
Mm-hmm.
It's kind of like, if you're going to rob a store, don't do it opposite the police station. So if you're going to be a deado, don't do it anywhere near the police station.
Mm-hmm.
It makes me what I kind of didn't get is, okay, so if you're a bad person and you realize you're dead, which obviously Ryan Reynolds didn't right away, but if you realize you're dead before you get sucked up into Judgment and you want to stay on Earth, I guess you'd have to want to stay on Earth because you don't think you're going to do very well at Judgment, right? I mean, like, none of the deados are potential heaven candidates, are they? Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And then you get corrupted by staying, but then, like, they don't want to get a, like, I mean, I guess the implication, which they never hinted on, they never said anything about, but the implication was that hell was awful. You wouldn't want to go there, right? But then there's also alternatives, like, because the R.I.P.D, like, that's not heaven either, right? That's working to get favor.
Yeah.
Never really, none of that really made sense. Like, I don't know. Like, but whatever.
I don't think it's going to be a problem for a few moments, just to show a scene.
Sure.
This was the bit where the guy, they're on a stakeout.
I've been really trying, baby.
I do music videos. Phone numbers on the back.
Excuse me. I'm not a piece of meat put on this earth for your gratification. I'm a woman. Respect me or I'll castrate you like a 3-year-old steer.
I think that's great.
Yeah.
I did find that funny because it's just the fact that he's a guy now pretending to be a woman, to fit with the, with his ID, the masquerade that that everybody perceives him as.
Mm-hmm.
And but goes into, I will castrate you like a steer, in the cowboy sense of the character he is or was.
Yeah.
It's the contrast between them. I find that funny. So
the one thing I thought was funny, but they could have done more with, is because Roy Cephas loses his hat, right?
Oh yeah.
And so several times during the movie, he's like trying on hats, but they could have been, I don't know, they could have done more with it. Because I thought it was kind of funny, but
yeah, I mean, it's an hour and a half long, 1:35.
Yeah.
And there's room for more of it in there. I wonder if they were worried that it might slow the pace down.
No, like what I'm saying though is you don't add anything, right? It's just what he's doing in the background and scenes, or like as when they're talking, because there's a lot of standing around and talking, right? And so sometimes they take advantage of that to have Roy Cephas or whoever do something while they're talking, and I think that's funny. And so they could have done that a few more times. I think there were opportunities where it was just talking and they could have been, like when they're sitting in the car just talking back and forth, there's not much going on. And they could have been talking in a store or somewhere where there was stuff going on.
Yeah.
But
so what didn't you like about it? As in, like, oh, that was really shit or whatever.
I didn't care for the action scenes.
Mm.
Like, I didn't. I thought they were kind of boring.
As I watched the film, it got to the point where if I wasn't paying attention to it, it didn't matter because I could still follow what was going on.
Mm.
Mm-hmm.
Isn't that
Yeah.
a bit like any action movie though?
No, sometimes action movies you got to pay attention to know what's going on. There was stuff going on in this movie that if you didn't pay attention to it, it didn't matter if you missed it. You'll just pick up on it later and figure it out.
Yeah. I thought, so there's like that one scene right in the middle of the movie that I kept falling asleep in. I had to rewind. It's only like 6 or 7 minutes long, but I just found it boring. But it ends where like the elevator breaks through the roof.
Oh yeah.
And that would wake me up. And then I'd be like, what is that? Like, I didn't even know that was an elevator because I kept missing that scene. I have to go back. But that was a relatively short scene. But the whole scene at the end with building the gold thing and the blood, it was boring to me. That whole action scene I didn't enjoy very much.
Yeah, you know exactly what's going to happen. They're going to these guys and the Staff of Jericho apart.
Yeah, it was predictable. Yeah.
Exactly. And it is supposed to be like the climax of the movie, which I found to be kind of the dullest part of the movie. So that's kind of unfortunate, but
yeah, I think they could have added more layers to it. It did seem to be two-dimensional in that regard. You know, that there could have been a bit more of an interest, a bit more of a dynamic in the, you need more to build this thing. You don't just, I mean, effectively they were building a Lego set. It's just the bits of the Lego set were at the police station. They had to go and raid the police station to get the bits. Yeah. But it's like, I don't know. The Deados all seem to know where all the bits went. I mean, it's made out of 1,000 parts.
Yeah.
And
they all know how to fit together.
Kevin Bacon's character is what, like 3,000 years old?
No, I think they
gave a date. They gave a date on him there.
I don't remember there being a date.
Yeah,
I don't remember.
Anyways, so from when this device was first built, then destroyed, and reassembled, all of its 1,000 components, because they're made of solid gold, have not yet been melted down by anybody.
Yeah, and not only that, everybody seems to know about it as well.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And not only that, they're all in Boston. You'd think they'd
they got collected into Boston, right? But I'm just saying, it's probably, let's just assume they were scattered around the world. Everybody seemed to recognize these things for what they were and didn't melt them down.
Yeah.
Or break them down further into smaller and smaller parts.
Yeah. Or for that matter, how did, gold is gold all over the place. And yet they seem to know that it was, these pieces of gold, not like all the bajillion other pieces of gold that are around, across the planet, split over 3,000 years, because I think the number 3,000 was said of 5,000. I can't remember. It was something like that.
Yeah, it's something like that. He's supposed to be old.
So these things were broken up, but they were only broken up either in Boston or they happened to be pieces that were recognized by any Deado to be a part of this machine as opposed to some piece of gold that was part of something else, or just, some talisman, or,
Mm-hmm. They showed, that's the other thing. So in that last action scene, wasn't there like a lot of stuff people couldn't see? Like human beings, alive human beings couldn't see exactly what was going on. They would see like a wind or, but I mean, but they can see Deados because they saw the monster.
Yeah, when the Deados would pop into their ugly form, you would see them as that monster. But then the two people that you see fighting them,
Jeff
Bridges
you can't
and Ryan
see
Reynolds,
that.
you saw the supermodel and the old Chinese guy.
Yeah.
And the old Chinese guy was armed with a banana.
Right.
Or an umbrella, depending if he's holding the rifle or not.
I'm just saying, the black, so those black clouds the corruption or whatever. I don't think humans could see that
Right.
because they kept kind of flashing like humans running from nothing, like humans running from a breeze or a wind, and then flashing back to what was actually going on.
Yeah.
I can't really remember what the cutoff was. But it's almost like it was almost as if to imply that we see this stuff all the time, but we don't see it.
Mm.
You know what I mean? Like it happens around us all the time, but we only see other effects of it. I don't know. I don't see anything.
And what was with the spicy food and the curry or the I think it was curry he had at the end there. Cumin. Why does that make the deados pop? What's with the spice?
They never explained that. But I guess if garlic can scare away a vampire, cumin can scare away deados.
Yeah. I'd like to know if there's anything in the folklore revolving around the dead or spirits that are haunting that revolves around cumin.
I don't know.
Or spicy food or spices in general.
Mm. I mean, it could just be a coincidence that they just don't like spicy food, and it's like just happens to be a coincidence, in the same way as the lights flicker because there's a dead person there, and it affects them. Well, they're I don't know what you call it, spicy intolerant.
Well, apparently you can use cumin to protect yourself from evil spirits.
Okay, there you go.
But you can also use salt and pepper and all sorts of other things.
Yeah.
This specifically says mix it with salt to create protective barriers in your home. Sprinkle it on windowsills and doorways to stop evil from entering. But yeah, I don't know.
I'm gonna play, risk of a copyright strike. Hopefully, I don't, but it won't be too.
Oh, you'll probably get one.
Well, we're talking about it, so it's within fair use. But,
as long as it's 30 seconds or less.
Yeah. So.
Dead. I mean, that's laughable. Check my pulse. Go ahead. What's the first question?
It's late on Ash Wednesday. An Asian teenager in a slammed-out Acura offers you a plate of chicken vindaloo. Do you accept?
How am I supposed to answer that?
Oh, you tell me.
Okay, the answer is no.
What's the problem? Is it the teenager? Yes. Is it the Japanese performance sedan? That means Indian food. Maybe you hate Indians.
No, that's...
Yeah. I have to admit that what he's eating makes me really like almost throw up.
Yeah.
It looks so gross. And the way he's eating it with its slop in it, so gross.
But then again, isn't that the point? That it's the reaction he's trying to provoke.
Yeah.
And there was after the guy pops and he jumps out the window, then what happens? Roy Cephas rides his partner
Oh yeah.
out and just yeehaw, riding on top of his partner and using him as an airbag when they hit the ground.
Yeah.
It's right out of the Doctor Strangelove.
Yeah. And
it's Glenn Pickens riding the atomic bomb.
Yeah. And what was it? He got a C+ because he was a good he was a good pink. The flight proportion went well.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was cheesy, but like I say, so.
Did you guys see here? Did you guys catch this here? Screen share it. Do you guys catch? Can you see his underwear on this deado?
Oh yeah.
Okay, is that a thong or is it
Yeah.
Speedo?
Oh, that's a thong.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, I remember seeing that when I watched it the first time. It's awful. Why are some Deados like so like different looking, and then Kevin Bacon is just kind of him but corrupted?
Yeah.
Oh, it's the it's the hero.
It's
Like when you watch the original Star Wars, all the X-wing pilots all
Yeah.
have dark visors on their helmets, but the main characters, the heroes, all have like a clear amber, so you can see their face.
gotcha.
Yeah.
Right.
I mean,
If you
it's-
corrupt them too much, you can't tell who it is.
this
Well,
is
Yeah.
this is the level of Kevin Bacon.
Mm-hmm.
You know,
Yeah.
I mean, the Bacon has seen better days, but it's not really.
Right.
Yeah.
But if you distorted them all and bloated them and stuff, you wouldn't know who he is then.
Mm.
So he has to
Yeah,
still be able to act.
I mean, I see the practicality of that. I couldn't figure out why some were like crazy looking.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay. Well, I think we'll sort of finish. Round it out. So, what do you think overall? So, my opinion, I enjoy the movie. It's cheesy, and again, it's an action movie. It's entertaining, but it's not outstanding. It's just it's kind of like light reading equivalent of an action movie.
Mm-hmm.
Not something you take seriously. It's not something you're going to say, "Oh, best action movie ever." No, it's not. There are much better action movies, but I enjoy the quirkiness of it, and it's something you can chuck on, have a watch of it, have a laugh, turn it off, and you had a good an hour and a half entertainment. That's
Yeah.
definitely put it on the entertaining register, but not the best ever. And it's got
Yeah.
easy bits out, and it's got bits
Yeah.
of other people, and so it's a sort of I think it's an okay movie. It's not fantastic, but it's not terrible either.
I thought some of the comedy was fun. Some of the sets and some of the editing was really kind of interesting and different. I didn't care for the action so much. Some of the lighter action was okay, but like the end, like it just got that long, drawn out scene, like that action scene just kind of bleh, it fell flat. And sadly, like the whole romantic element at the end just kind of didn't really.
Yeah, it had a bit of
Didn't
the
help.
ghost in there. You needed to
Yeah.
have the happy sadness at the end.
Yeah, I wish they'd done something else. It was a
Yeah,
little-
the resolution, which is just a little cheesy.
Yeah.
What about you, Headless?
I'd say on a scale of watching the movie as a free download on the internet to paying for it at the movie theater in 3D
Oh God.
at one of those special theaters where you get the big puffy chairs, you can have booze at your table.
Nothing's worth that.
I would rate this around a free download. Individually, the jokes are funny individually. Some scenes are fine are well done individually, but putting it together, I couldn't stay focused on it. It
Yeah.
needed a lot more work.
It was considered a bomb.
Yeah.
On the box office, it says film grossed 12.7 million in its opening weekend, quickly labeled as a box office bomb. Film ended the theatrical run at 78.3 million worldwide, including 33 million domestic and 44 million foreign markets. Film is considered one of the largest box office bombs of all time.
Yeah. Wow.
Yeah.
I mean, I would say. I would say most movies, like 75% of movies, don't rate any better than watching them free downloaded. Like that's most movies, right?
Mhm.
This one, I'd probably say this one fits that category.
Well, just
too.
like when I said when I watched it, you saw elements that you would see from other movies,
Mhm.
like Men in Black, Ghostbusters, Starsky and Hutch, like all, and they're not even paying a homage to it. They're just doing it.
Yeah, that's
It's
true. Maybe
like,
if they'd thrown in,
this is where the
yeah.
polish needs to be put on it to clean it up, and it just isn't there.
Yeah, you might be right.
So,
Because had they sort of had they had someone near the end, like when there was that portal in the sky, like some woman talking about Zool, right? Like that would have been
Yeah, there wasn't even an Easter egg anywhere in there. Like
Yeah.
that
that
would have
been funny. Yeah.
yeah.
Like
But it was
have one of the Deados be like the Zool, the creepy demon guy or something, right?
Mhm.
That would have been good. Yeah, they could have done stuff like that. I think that would have made more sense how they've taken all these movies and stolen from them, and it would have made it fair somehow.
Yeah. So,
who's next?
well, I was just going to say, well, let's round it off. So, if you're going to give it an out of 10, I give it about maybe 6 because I enjoy the movie. I'm a bit biased because I picked it and I enjoy it, and it was on my DVD. It's on my DVD collection. And I bought it on a whim. Absolutely bought it.
Okay, wait. Okay, did you pay full price or was this bargain bin?
Oh, it was bargain bin. I mean, I think
Okay.
it was either £3, £5, something like that. It was like it had been out for 6 months, a year, whatever, and it's like there it is available, and it's like, what's this one? I don't know. Well, it looks like it might be all right. Yeah, stick it in the trolley anyway. It's only £3. So I didn't pay much for it, and like I say, I enjoy it. I've watched it about maybe 4 times now, I think. Including watching another time. Well, I've showed a couple of friends. I watched it twice. Showed a couple of friends. And then watched it again for this, one. So for this hangout, to refresh myself. So for me, I give it a 6, mainly because I like the quirkiness. I like the silliness of it. It's not to be, it's not too serious, but it's funny enough that it's not just stupid or rubbish.
Yeah, I don't know. I'd kind of between a 5 and a 6. I think. I think yeah. I mean, I didn't dislike it. I watched. I mean, other than like that one action scene that I just couldn't get through. Other than that, I mean, I thought it was pretty easy watching. So
yeah, I kind of consider the 5 the kind of like it's either above or below. It's like the percentage kind of thing. 50% is average. So if it's under 5, it will be below average. If it's above 5, it's above average. And like I say, I stick it just above average because
it's I would say like any comedy that I can at least like get a chuckle out of is gonna be better than a crappy drama, because I don't get anything out of that. Like, at least if I get a chuckle, at least there's some value to it, right? But yeah. So that was all right.
So how about you, Headless?
I'd have to give it a 3.
Oh, that bad?
Yeah.
Why so low?
Part of it is, like I said, it's the bringing it all together. The polish on the whole thing is lacking. The pacing, there were parts you didn't have to pay attention to kind of follow along with in order to keep up. And some of the jokes were kind of predictable. Like you weren't laughing or surprised by the punchline. You might not have guessed it, but you weren't surprised by it.
I have to admit, I'd knock a point off if it didn't have Ryan Reynolds in it.
And for a film like you got Jeff Bridges, Ryan Reynolds, Kevin Bacon, and I can't remember some of the other actors and actresses there who have a name to them, but you kind of expect maybe more. I know you can't always have a success, but it kind of just bombs overall.
Mary Louise Parker.
Yeah.
Is Mildred Proctor. Yeah. Like I say, I think we've come to a conclusion.
Yeah.
And the next movie is from Headless, and we will update people on what that is. The rest of us have still got to watch it, and it's a Chinese movie, apparently. So we'll be bringing you back sometime soon. We'd like to do it every week, but not. It may not always be possible to do it every week, but we'll see what happens. So, do you want to say goodbye, people?
Sure. Goodbye, people.
Oh, we're all going to say goodbye, people? Okay, goodbye, people.
Okay. Well, have a great time, a great evening, everybody, and see you next time.